8 Uhr. So, Aufnahme läuft auch. Vielleicht wundert sich jemand, warum ich hier bin, weil letztes Mal haben wir doch mit Hina gesprochen. Ich habe aber blöderweise letztes Mal vergessen zu speichern, bevor ich ausgemacht habe. Ich musste dann die Investigation nochmal kurz so machen und habe mir gedacht, dann kann ich auch gleich mal kurz nochmal hier hingehen und ein paar neue Geschenke holen. Okay. Und ich habe einem Kumpel Bescheid gesagt, dem Justin, ob er auch mal kurz reinschauen möchte. Da. Oh Gott, ist das sauer. Okay. Nein, not Justin Bieber. Oh, Hina, how's Togo doing? Same as before, she won't come out, and she just keeps on mumbling something about Genocide Jack. So I just left her there. You left her? My head was all swimmy and I was getting pretty hungry.
Yeah!
Oh, but don't worry, I'm gonna head back as soon as I'm done eating. Togo's not exactly pleasant, but I'm still worried about her. Not exactly pleasant, yeah. Das ist eine gute Art, sie zu beschreiben. Speaking of which, what are you eating?
Huh?
A donut, of course. Of course. There's two things I'm sure God created. Out of space and donuts. What the fuck? Really? I bet Chihiro would have liked to eat more donuts. Maybe that was her one big regret. Oh, I should have tried to spend more time with her. Yeah, because now she's fucking dead. Come to think of it, who did she spend time with?
Well...
Yeah, she was a little bit strange. Didn't really hang out with the other girls much. It was like she was trying to keep her distance from us. Actually, Sakura said something similar. She said that even though you and her invited Chihiro to exercise with you, she always refused.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's true. And it wasn't just us either. It was like she stayed away from all the girls. Was she just shy? I don't know. She talked to the boys all the time. Isn't it kind of weird to be shy around your own sex, but totally fine with the opposite sex? Oh wait, maybe she was used to guys spoiling her. The law says you can't judge a book by its cover, right? Do you think so? I never really saw her as that kind of girl. aRdW's account has been added to the truth bullets. Uh-oh. Ich hoffe, ihr seid alle bereit. Hope you're ready.
I'm getting tired of waiting. Shall we just plunge right in?
So this is the guy who apparently locked us up in the school and forces us to play the killing game.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for! The class trial! You remember where to meet, right? Please go through the red door on the first floor of the school. See you soon!
Begin the class trial, or it's about to begin. The red door is right through here. Okay. Let's go. Ich mag ihn. Vor allem wer so, ich hab keinen Bock mehr zu warten, ihr könnt jetzt mal alle kommen. So is everyone ready to... What? Am I blind or are we missing someone?
Yo.
Yeah, Togo's not here.
Huh?
And Togo is? You really don't remember, man?
Come on!
Kidding, I'm just kidding. How could I forget that little nut job? She's a crucial part of the class trial this time.
What are you gonna do?
Okay, I'll go ahead and drag her out here, kicking and screaming. Just a moment, please. And just like he said, a few minutes later, he reappeared, dragging Togo behind him. I just told him I didn't want to, but he forced me. I can't believe you would drag a girl around. Terrible. It's terrible. Ooh, so now everyone's here, right? Okay then, hustle onto the elevator and let's get this show on the road. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
So, shall we get going? It's time to find out who killed Chihiro. Chihiro Fujisaki. She was so gentle, so calm and meek. Nobody had any problems with her. Someone made the choice to kill a girl like that. One of these people. That murderer is one of us. Someone standing right here. Oh well. We have no choice, right? We have to do this.
It's true.
Yes. I give a small nod in reply. With one last deep breath, I walked toward the elevator on shaky legs. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. As soon as everyone was on, the elevator began to descend. I couldn't get a handle on my emotions. I couldn't stop speculating. The steel box sank with heavy clunking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. 3. There are 3 games in this series. And they're all great so far. The first one is pretty good, the second one is amazing, and the third one I haven't completely finished yet, but what I've played so far is a lot, and it was even enough to make me consider it becoming my favorite in the entire series. And the steel box sank with heavy clunking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. And as we went deeper, the uneasiness in my heart grew bigger and bigger. The elevator was unaffected, however, and continued to descend without hesitation, until finally it came to a sudden stop. What do you think? I redecorated. Isn't it so fresh? Isn't it so exciting? Don't waste your time with stupid questions. Let's get this over with.
Very
Good. You're raring to go. Gotta say, I don't hate it. Not at all.
well.
Okay then, let's get this show on the road.
Thrills,
Everyone.
chills, kills.
Please find your assigned seats. And so the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith. That's hard to say. A deadly class trial. Yep. Okay. Da es eine Woche her ist, lass uns nochmal die Sachen durchgehen. Let's have a look at our evidence since it's been a week. Also. The victim was Chihiro Fujisaki. The time of death is estimated to be around 2 a.m. The body was discovered in the girls' locker room on the 2nd floor of the school. The cause of death was a blow to the head with a blunt object. She was killed instantly. Sakura's account. Although Chihiro wanted to get stronger, she declined several invitations from Sakura and Aoi and may have used the locker room late at night to avoid them. Despite this, Chihiro had stated that she desired help with her efforts. She may have been meeting someone in the locker room the night she was murdered. Locker room dumbbell. The dumbbell found on the floor of the girls' locker room had a significant amount of blood on it. Mondo's account. Chihiro had told anyone willing to listen that she wanted to get stronger. Some assume that due to her inferiority complex about being weak, she admired strength more than anything else. Card reader. To unlock a locker room, you need to swipe your e-handbook over the card reader. You need a male student's handbook for the boys' locker room and a female student's for the girls. It is not possible for 2 people to enter at the same time. Additionally, lending someone your handbook is a violation of school regulations and gets you killed. Main hall e-handbooks. The handbook of each student that has died is placed in the mailbox in the main hall. One of the handbooks found in the main hall had been broken, which is apparently a rare occurrence. Junko and Sayaka's handbooks both seem to still work, so it is assumed that the broken handbook is Leon's. However, Monokuma claims it's very unlikely that Leon's handbook would have broken. Genocide Jack case file. Suspected Genocide Jack victims include Ken Harada, Tetsuhiro Honda, and Shoji Gaku among countless others. They were killed in the same way and mounted to a nearby wall. The word bloodless was found at the scene of each crime, written in blood. Profiling indicates the killer is likely a student suffering from a split personality. Aoi's account. Chihiro seems to have consciously kept her distance from the other girls at the school, even from the beginning. Meanwhile, it had been noticed that she got along remarkably well with her male classmates. Boys' locker room carpet. The carpet in the boys' locker room was found with a blackish stain on it. 2 locker room posters. Blood was found on the poster in the girls' locker room. The poster featured a big-breasted supermodel popular among young boys. Meanwhile, the poster in the boys' locker room was for a boy band popular with teenage girls. Chihiro's handbook was not found on her corpse and has apparently gone missing. Chihiro's body had been suspended and her hands had been bound with some kind of rope. Her fatal injury was a blow to the head. Sakura mentioned that she was responsible for a coffee stain on the girls' locker room floor, however the stain had since been inexplicably scrubbed away. Byakuya was known to use this lamp often. Library desk lamp. However, the extension cord had gone missing at some point and the lamp's cord couldn't quite reach the outlet. Finally, Celeste's account on the night of the murder. Right before nighttime, Chihiro was spotted leaving the warehouse. It seems she was stuffing some blue exercise clothes into a duffel bag. Presumably, she was on her way to exercise, but the clothes were not found at the crime scene. Und ich glaube, Celeste hat das nur uns erzählt. Niemand anderem. Okay. Save. Set skills. Increases the timer for each phase. Yep. Focus decreases more slowly during concentration for your time. Yep. Okay, das ist eh alles, was ich habe. Okay, let's go. Trial. Rise.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
First, we have to make clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. Okay, das sollte einfach sein. Locker room dumbbell. Oh.
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Interesting. That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Or Chihiro.
Okay, ich weiß schon wo. The weapon had to be at the scene of the crime. There was something with a blood stain on it. Yeah.
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was. According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Interesting.
Oh, fuck.
That
Wie kann ich...
certainly would
okay.
make for.
Or Chihiro.
Yeah.
Chihiro's. It appears it was. According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
No, that's wrong.
You shoot truth bullets to, yeah, you have to shoot the thing that
Can we
contradicts
agree
your
that
truth
the object
bullet.
that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell found at the scene of the crime? It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
I told you, the game is fucking insane, man.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
Yep.
You looked at her head wound?
But what the fuck else are we supposed to do?
Yay! That's so creepy!
Das sagt der Richtige.
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Genocide Jack, the fiendish serial killer. Did he really kill Chihiro? Oh, 9. A new element has been added to non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely. For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. Your truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. But there's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button to attach the silencer, which you can use to shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual remark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the time limit will decrease. So take careful aim when you have your silencer out. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. In which case you can forget about the silencer and just focus on the situation in front of you. Well then, good luck and have fun. Also gut. White noise ist im Grunde, dass alle dazwischen quatschen. Ich muss beim nächsten Kapitel echt mal auf die Schwierigkeit hochstellen, weil es ist doch ein bisschen einfach, wenn man immer nur
The
eine
culprit is
Truth
Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
Oh doch.
So,
Fuck.
speaking, I don't know who that is.
Ich habe wieder den... Ich drück gerade andauernd den schneller statt langsamer Knopf. The thing Byakuya showed me in the archive. One look at that and anyone would be convinced. Ja. Ich weiß schon. I know what I have to choose.
Case closed.
There's one button to speed it up and one to slow it down, and I keep mixing them up.
I mean, come on, there's just no proof for it.
Fuck.
Hey, so, speaking of, I don't know who that is.
You should get used to the controls again.
The culprit is Case closed. Why?
Well, I mean, there's just no proof for it.
Ich bin so dumm.
Hey, so, speaking, I don't know who that is.
Sorry. Okay, focus.
The culprit is Case closed.
That's a...
Why? What?
Well, I mean, there's just no proof for it.
Hey, so,
Fuck.
speaking of, I don't know who that is.
Ach, mein Fokus ist alle. Shit.
The culprit
Deswegen kann
is
ich das nicht langsam
Genocide
machen.
Jack.
Okay.
I'm sure. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible.
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on. There's just no proof for
Fuck
it.
you, and boom. There we go.
No, that's wrong. I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
Kind of weird as shit.
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
Poop lust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
The other characteristic of every Genocide Jack case, which the world at large doesn't actually know, if I'm not mistaken, it has to do with the positioning of the body, how the victim was positioned.
I got it! Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way.
Best thing you ever said, and Errol will say.
Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes. In fact, it's Toko.
Ja, it's Toko.
What?
Ich find's super, wie er nicht mal irgendwie... Doesn't beat around the bush, just, yep, it's Toko.
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
You lie!
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has, like, bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle. Man, why has this gotta be so complicated?
It's a riddle for sure, but I feel like I understand it. What it means for Genocide Jack to be Toko, but also to not be Toko. The answer is that she's not just one person, but multiple people, right? Ach, muss ich jetzt wieder Hangman's Gambit machen? No! S? C? The answer is... Oh. Oh. Yep. That was easy.
Now I understand. Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have... what did they call it? Dissociative Identity Disorder.
Wäre das nicht cool, wenn ich beim Hangman's Gambit dieses scheiß Wort hätte schreiben müssen?
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
The one thing that shows Toko could have a split personality, it has to do with her behavior. Her behavior changed.
I got it! You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
I'm fine. Whoa, is that a dead body? Hey, are you dead? She must have hit her head, man, real hard, man, when she fainted. The world is a front and back, a top, inning and a bottom, a sea of truth and a web of lies. This is quite concerning. I mean, she sounds completely different.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm.
Don't go assigning adjectives.
In other words, within her is one personality that can handle blood, and one that obviously can.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
I won't let Genocide Jack have control. I'll drive with the killer, drive with the murderous fiend.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How? Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation.
Alright. The motives were secrets.
She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised! I can't believe you lied!
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale. Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise...
I'm sorry, I couldn't keep our promise. Ja, das hat sie letztes Mal gesagt. But don't worry, never again. I won't let Genocide Jack have control ever again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only reason I promised.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that, but you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it,
but your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person? You don't mean...
Look at her. Togo's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom, but in the next second... Oh my god.
Oh, hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Holy Jesus, what the...
What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
Well, the things she could do with that tongue.
What the fuck is this?
Toko,
Play and kiss.
what happened to you?
Not Toko! That's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's faults.
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
This is the murderous fiend genocide, Jack. This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds! Just kidding!
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid?
Creepazoid.
And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless. I mean, they just let this idiotic bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster!
Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said, I need to get some more details about all of this. Let's go. Status of the dead body. Was war denn das?
Sorry!
Suspended. Her hands have been bound with some kind of rope. I render her with a blow to the head.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking!
One thing. Oh. Just want to check something real quick. Oh, okay.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need?
It doesn't.
Give it up. You killed her.
Ah, ich weiß schon. I have to just focus on remembering Chihiro's body.
Sorry, but
You say that, but
perhaps if you had an...
Oh, an alibi!
When you compare your
the modus operandi, what more proof do we need?
Shit!
Give it up. You killed her.
Went too fast.
Sorry, but
You say that, but
Perhaps if you had an...
Oh, an alibi!
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely.
No.
No, that's wrong. Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you! I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things.
No, I just kind of missed it. Doesn't have to hit this character.
Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee. This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
There's one clear difference between the murders. In the photos from the other Genocide Jack cases, look at the neck and stomach. Here you'll see a clear difference. The fatal injury.
For one, the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
That's right. In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
Seriously.
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
That's right. The second difference is related to how she was suspended. In the photos of the other Genocide Jack cases, all the other victims were stabbed through their hands. Here you'll see a clear difference. What was used to suspend her?
I got it! Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement.
Well, isn't that great?
Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else? Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac?
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Little lolly girl. Let's see. There was a pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit it. If you look at the names of every victim, what you'll notice is... I think I figured it out. I know why she couldn't have killed Chihiro. Because Chihiro was a girl.
I got it!
Das ist ein bisschen fies.
Because Chihiro was a girl?
Wenn man das nicht als Japaner spielt, ist das natürlich ein bisschen fies, weil nicht unbedingt jeder sich mit japanischen Namen auskennt. Und deswegen kann man dann, wo ist es denn? Hallo? Ja. Hier stehen ja die Namen, aber wenn man sich halt nicht so gut mit japanischen Namen auskennt, ist das ein bisschen schwer zu bekommen.
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Ken Harada, 32. Tetsuhiro Honda, 17. Shoji Gaku, 23. Kanno Ise, 14. Takeshi Yoshida, 30. Komatsu Nataro, Takefumi Gono, Uchido Naohia. Naohia? Das für ein komischer Name. Takeshi Masamune, Yuzo Yumejima. There was no end to it.
They were all... guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So, since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely. When you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect!
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world scissors!
Oh, of course.
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
She's fully equipped!
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime! Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong! You can't, can you, gutter dogs, all of you! Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot! So rope's totally out of the question anyway!
I have no idea what's going on anymore! Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah! That's why we figured it had to be the real deal, and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Actually, hold on. There is one person. One person who could have copied the Genocide Jack cases. Oh? It's Sayaka Maizono! So...
Here's my answer. Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
Then, the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it! The adorable glasses man was behind it all! Oh,
God.
I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls
I see.
on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
And the locker rooms. They're suspicious, very suspicious indeed, wouldn't you agree? Huh? Suspicious? It seems nobody searched the locker rooms. Let's start with the girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say? The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Huh. But you could only know the victim as Chihiro is.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
Okay then, what's so strange about it? Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There was a clear contradiction in what Byakuya just said. We need to make it clear to everyone. A new element has been added to non-stop debates, of course. Next we're going to add something called a truth flashback. Jetzt kommt es. If you aim at a weak spot and hold down the left mouse button, then you will memorize that weak spot. This memorized phrase can only be shot once as a single truth bullet. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use that to make your case. When's the best time to flashback? Well, you'll just have to use your keen wits, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Good luck and have fun. Und das macht dann einige Fälle schon, oder einige Debatten schon um einiges schwieriger, wenn man erstmal rausfinden muss, habe ich gerade die richtige Truth Bullet dafür oder muss ich irgendeines der gelben Statements nehmen und auf ein anderes anwenden und wenn ja, welches auf welches. Aber immerhin haben wir hier jetzt den Hinweis bekommen, dass wir das hier machen müssen. Also wissen wir hier schon mal, dass wir die Truth Bullet ignorieren können.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
Let's see.
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
you absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Hearing Byakuya's comment about Chihiro being a girl, I realize there's a clear connection. I don't actually know what you mean. What you mean?
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting...
If you're presented with the opportunity...
That's unnatural!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a...
Okay.
No, that's wrong! I'll tell you what's so strange about that, because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was.
Exactly.
So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
Huh?
What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
What's with Byakuya's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. I've got him cornered, but he's acting like it has nothing to do with him.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents. The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
The differences between this case and other Genocide Jack murders, the evidence that proves Byakuya is responsible is hidden in there? What could it be? Wahrscheinlich das Kabel. Who the hell is that? Yeah.
What? The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again?
Please
when
explain
I
it.
want to kill, I use my very own stick, and I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But
Oh, da war's.
Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
Was it really a rope?
Then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope
before in my life.
Duh. Lie.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, it's almost like a computer cable. It's
Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before. Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension
an
cord?
extension cord.
What? An extension cord?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you? And the same extension cord that was in the library all this time went missing after the murder. And there's no way someone who uses that extension cord as much as you do wouldn't discover that fact.
And Byakuya must be the one who took the extension cord. I can't imagine any other possibility.
That's really what you think? Then your conclusion is something like this. I killed Chihiro in the girls' locker room, then hung her up and wrote that bloody message. I intentionally made it look like Genocide Jack was behind it. Is that about right?
He's doing it again. He's totally calm. Totally unconcerned. As if he's not even involved. What? Not even involved?
What's wrong? I asked you if you think that's what happened.
Hell yes, that's what happened. So that's it, right? Byakuya's the killer.
I don't disagree with not disagreeing.
He kept calling this a game, right? so he'd be totally willing to do something like this to win.
Sorry, but could we hold on just a second? I think we need to talk about this a little more.
Do we really need to? We've already decided who did it.
I know, but still, there's something that's still bothering me.
Is that right? And what, pray tell, is still bothering you? I killed her in the girls' locker room, then disguised my crime. Specifically, I dressed it up to make it look like it was the work of a homicidal psychopath. What about all that bothers you?
Wait. What was that just now? Something's not right.